I have written a few things here and there, and many times I kind of come down on our belief system. And I've written a book where I kind of pointed out a discrepancy in what we believe in and what is really true. But then all this while, I've noticed things going around in terms of politics and how we struggle as Africans. And I feel like I need to come back again, not through writing, but to add, some about what I've written. And this is in regards to critical thinking. And I come to you again, hopefully you'll get a chance to listen to this voice right here, where I know that some of the things that we believe in are really not evidential in other words, we have a faith, which is a belief, and a belief is something that you cannot really have tangible evidence to support it. And most of these things that we believe, even when it comes to religion, are things that we were given. And my my critic on this paradigm here was and has always been that we apply critical thinking, which in this case it just kind of mean that if someone tells you that a man walked on water, I mean that is really an extraordinary assertion, or that's an extraordinary claim. At that point you need, or we need, to ask for more evidence. And evidence is not testimonial evidence. Testimonies that were given and written down by another person to another person uh, is really not really even testimony. That in that case is not evidence. And so many times I've in my book I wrote and I said there is clear discrepancy in some of these extraordinary things. And my war at that time, my war today is we continue believing some of the things that we were given, which it means we're not using our critical or our faculties, our mental, faculties. We don't have that testicular fortitude to really dive in and kind of examine some of these things that we were given. And our failure in that regard is why we have so much mess right now. And I want you to kind of connect what is happening now with us as a people, as Africans. Let's look at why we are so divided. My position is we're divided because we're not looking at things critically. When it comes to the religion that we were given, we're not going to where this religion came from. Because I know and I maintain this, that a man who is abusing you and molesting you and colonizing you cannot give you something that give you life or salvation. No way. No man, no woman can abuse you and then give you something that will help you in your future. No way. So the same case goes here, because at this point, what I keep coming up here, and I've written this book, and I'm also connecting our failure to use critical thinking in that regard, and also fast forward to our political life or our social life. The same critical thinking, the same defect in, or the failure to think critically is affecting even the choices that we make of our leaders. It's also affecting how we socialize, or how we culturize ourselves. At this time, you could say I'm from East Africa. You are no culture now. Your culture is all over. Your culture is not African culture anymore. And it is so bizarre and so strange that us, the Africans, and let me just circle in, like tornado in down to perhaps East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania there. Most of what we do there, or most of what we do there is, well, like in terms of music, in terms of a lot of these things that are shows how our culture is building up too. It shows we're so westernized. But here's my question to you. Because at this point, with that in mind, you go to some European country, or you go to the United States, or you go to China. Do you find anybody over there trying to live or be or sing or act like you as African in East Africa? None. They don't call themselves by your names. They don't sing your songs. They don't practice your culture. It's us only, again, critically, who are not using our faculties to realize we are actually adapting to other people's culture and we're eroding our culture. Critical thinking is where I'm coming from here. Same case here with politics. When these politicians come to you, where is our critical thinking? Where are our faculties to question these politicians? So it is us who we have to ask ourselves or ask these people. If they come to you, you must ask them, what are you bringing to the table? What are you going to do for us and how are you going to do it? If they will come to you with all these promises, you don't just take the promises. If they say they will build roads, ask them where the money is going to come from. If they promise you better health care, if they promise you electricity, if they promise you all these things, you must ask where they will get the funds. Otherwise, they will sell you just like you were sold before to colonizers. They are selling you now by going out overseas to seek loans because you are demanding better roads, better electricity, and you do not have a good economy that supports what you're demanding for. So you must scrutinize these leaders or these misleaders. If you can do that, you would have used your faculties properly. Same case here. If these men who they say they are men of God come to you, you must ask them, how are you connected to a God for you to tell me today, God told me? When they read those books, read those hard, crazy chapters, those verses that are weird, and have a clear fundamental understanding where those chapters came from. And don't look in just that book, just the same way you couldn't trust the politicians who made promises to you. Do not stop at that book. There are history written somewhere else. Go over there to verify what you're being told here, whether it's in the this book you call it spiritual or religious books. You must go outside of it to verify what happened or how these things came about. And some people like me have done research. Here it is in my book. Get a test of this book. Take a look at some of the books that have been written and you will understand. But all I call upon everyone to think about using their critical thinking skills. Find ways to develop your skills to question things. Do not walk like a blind person. Because what we're in the world of information where the blind must see, the dead, the mentally dead must rise.